We go back to work. We want to have kids. We want to be there for our grandchildren. Basically, we want to have everything that any other normal person would be having. And what I realized is, because I have my own cancer journey, what I realized is there's a lot of noise out there about nutrition. And I'm going to be just talking about the non-medical part of it in the interest of time as well. So everyone talks a lot about nutrition. People talk a lot about exercise, meditation, how to reduce your stress. No one much seems to be addressing the sleep part of it. If you haven't slept properly, if you have slept maybe only 4 hours, whereas your usual is 7 hours, what happens the next day when you're trying to turn up at work? What happens when you're trying to be there for anything else that's part of your day routine? And then once you're done with your active treatment, the support just kind of plunges down, right? I'm not having any vendetta towards anyone, but let's be honest, even our family thinks like, hey, you're done with treatment, you're going to be back to normal. And I'm sure you've had this like a zillion times. We never go back to normal, and we don't want to go back to normal, God forbid. And so it's really coming from that place. And that's how people, like I work with them or that they work with me, where I make them, for me, at the end of the day, it's about really getting back an element of joy. Not everything has to be so morose and serious and, oh my God, I'm going to die any moment. It doesn't have to be that way. As far as sleeping tablets are concerned, which was that is another thing as well that people can be put on. Again, nothing against it, but I think at some point we have to think, because once you have the diagnosis, you have it for a lifetime. So the initial accepting part, yes, I understand you may require that. But I mean, nowadays, of course, let's be honest, your anxiolytics and your so-called sleeping tablets, they don't have so many side effects as how it used to be back then. It does kind of help to numb out everything. And our ultimate aim is to try and feel as normal as possible, to accept our diagnosis and just kind of try and move on that. So I like to work with people who have kind of done with all of that, and then really help them to create a routine. When you start getting even 1 or 2 parts of your life kind of back in control, like I'm like, oh my God, I slept for 7 hours last night. That just feels so good, and that's going to kind of keep you going. And just to do 2 or 3 things, it kind of really sets the tone for the entire day. Then it's up to we all have our worries, whether it is about the worry of the recurrence, the worry of, am I going to be able to take care of my grandchild? Am I going to be able to go back to work? And so there's this beautiful thing which is called a worry tree that I run people through. And at the end of that, you can actually really distinguish and say, okay, is there something I can do about it? Versus saying, okay, maybe there isn't something I can do about it right now. And if I can do about it, write about it. So when we journal, everybody's big about gratitude. But honestly, Dennis, like when you've been handed something like cancer, I'll be honest, it takes a very, very great person to talk about gratitude. So at that moment, something like a worry journal, although I don't recommend that you do it just before you go to sleep, because that may just keep you awake, but have a time in the evening after you come back from work, before dinner, maybe something like that. Scribble 15, 20 minutes, write out all your worries of what may have happened during the day as well, all of that. The other thing is simple yoga poses. Again, yoga, it can be very gentle. You don't have to do all those exotic things that, everybody's showing on YouTube. Do what your body can do. Something as simple as an act of just raising, your feet against the wall, that helps.